Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on shit since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. 30K on my riches for hard times. These niggas just mad cause they bitchin' my archives. Jordan came back, so the 4-5. If you play, then you lay right there by your own kind. Pull up a 4 in a loco. Tell them run this bitch back like so-so. Got this rap shit here in the chokehold. Did a show out in Austin. Shout out to Bobo. Moved out the trenches, now look how we live. Tell my BM to furnish the crib. Walk out the mall with some shoes for the kids. Deposit the checks, my bank full of M's. Paid up my rent, now I'm up for the year. The view look crazy from here. What I paid for some dogs could've bought me veneers. Texas piece on my neck could've bought your career. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on shit since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. Stuffing Cali blood, weed in the blunt. Let my little brother roll him a Dutch. My little boy get whatever he want. Madam T don't be asking for much. Pouring lean on the nuggets and runch. Spill the rest of that drink in a punch. Left wrist on some, I had to stunt. Right wrist, I just did it because 600 the labor, you know how we coming. Tell them niggas they ain't taking nothing. Standing on business, we shooting the punching. Hating ass nigga, go get you some money. I just got off a tour, finna go on another one. Album done, finna drop me another one. Couple M's, finna run up another one. Super Bowl ring, shit, I had to go double. Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping on shit since my mama stayed in them apartments. Regardless, my daddy told me keep the heat even when I'm in foreigns. I'm heartless, cause these niggas is hating on me just because I'm the biggest, the largest, the biggest, the largest. Hey.
Yeah. What does corn say when it gets a compliment?
Orville Redenbacher.
Aw, shucks.
Fuck. That one.
Oh, wait, where's the can? There it is. Welcome back to Brand Coverage. I'm Brandon Carney alongside Pat Gustafson. It is the dog days of the pre-draft, not quite close enough to the draft of the NFL season, but we have other sports and things that we are going to talk about on top of, NFL stuff. Pat, we are so lacking in actual NFL news that we have to pretend that Brian Robinson signing with the Atlanta Falcons is an actual big deal.
Bro, you have Trevor Siemian on our show sheet. I don't want to hear any Brian Robinson slander.
Listen, it was grouping together that news with the other quarterback news, all right, because there was some other quarterback news. We've got some Joe Flacco updates. We've even got a Zach Wilson update for the vibes here. So, just to let the people know what kind of hard-hitting football talk is coming your way this show. But no, we've actually got some fun stuff planned. We're going to talk about our takeaways from the flag football scrimmage and talk about which players we think would actually be able to play Olympic flag football. Based on that, I'm going to give Pat a keep 3, cut 5 and see what kind of team he can put together.
As a man who just didn't pay an ounce of attention to this flag football nonsense, I'm looking forward to providing hard-hitting insight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay a ton of close attention to it, but I did, catch up on the highlights and see what exactly people were saying about it, because it was a bit surprising, the results of it and how it all went, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we've got that. We've got some March Madness takeaways, and Pat, baseball's starting. So Before we get into anything, I mean, any early preliminary thoughts before baseball officially gets underway live on Netflix tonight between the New York Yankees and the Giants?
Speaking of the New York Yankees, there's going to be a public execution of Brian Cashman at some point this season. Why exactly? I don't know. But that's my boldest prediction of the MLB
I don't think
season.
That's that bold.
And the other one is that the Dodgers get sent to Anaheim and not the Angels.
Okay.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Why not?
I mean, can we just send the Dodgers to Alcatraz? I mean, the Los Angeles Dodgers of Alcatraz and lock them up. I'm tired of what they're doing.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and the Los Angeles Dodgers of Alcatraz. It does have a decent ring to it.
Rolls off the tongue a little bit.
it's basically just sitting around hoping the Dodgers aren't quite as good as they are, and if they're not, then that is like painfully funny. We're in an age now where it should not be World Series victory or bust for any MLB team under any circumstance. But that's where we're at with this Dodgers team now for the second year in a row. So it's like all it takes is for them to lose 4 games at one point of the year for it to be a success against them. But we're hate watching.
We are big hate watching. I, as many of you know, am the terrorist combination of Yankees and Patriots fan, so I am following along with the Yankees, but the Yankees are also by far the hardest team to watch for me out of all the teams I like, which is insane because they made the World Series 2 years ago, but it was also such a flat feeling World Series appearance because I just knew they had no shot against the Dodgers, and it ended up being 4-1. So you know,
when was the one?
What?
I think they got swept.
Did they get swept? I could have swore they stole one.
No, they were going to, and then Judge dropped the fly ball, and then everyone pooped their pants.
Well, then, yeah. And, either way, got railroaded. Scranton Wilkes-Barre shot out.
Are you telling me that the Yankees, whose only outside acquisition is Randall Grichuk on their opening day roster, is not exciting you?
I mean, the Mets stole all our pitchers again, so they need to stop doing that.
They took the ones. Take them.
Devin Williams was supposed to be good, and then he wasn't good. And then
Devin Williams was better than the the numbers showed. His underlying numbers were a lot better, especially at the end of the year. But Luke Weaver went the other way around.
Yeah.
Luke Weaver's numbers looked better than he actually was.
Yeah.
Why are you guys so quiet? Why are you so loud? Slurpy Derby
Hello.
1907.
Are we quiet? I mean, I can turn us up a little, but, hold on. Let's see. There. Hello? Knock, knock.
Turn up your hearing aids, Slurpy Derby.
TikTok, knock, knock. Yeah, I mean, that should be
Bro's
fine.
got to plug the TikTok, of course.
Yeah, TikTok.
Bro's out here getting retweeted by ESPN, and now he just thinks he runs the fucking world.
I mean, it's not the first time, but it is the first time that I just saw it scrolling on my own page and didn't know that I got tagged or anything. All right, let's get into the news of the week. Where's the stupid thing? Nah, that's not the one. This is the one.
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world tonight.
So, the Seahawks have extended Jaxon Smith-Njigba. 4 years, $168.6 million. We've seen this time and time again of receivers resetting the market, every position resetting the market when they are the latest one to be paid, and JSN is no exception, now making more average annual money than Jamar Chase. I think it might actually not be the case when you add it into like his current deal. It was like kind of a weird spreading it across the 6 years that he actually has in total now under contract with the Seahawks. It was like an extension, but whatever. Either way, if you look it up, it says he's making more on average than Jamar Chase now. Certainly makes a lot of sense why they had to let Kenneth Walker go. If you're going to give $42 million a year to JSN, not that I think that's the wrong move or anything. I certainly think if you have to choose between JSN and Kenneth Walker,
it's quite frankly not close, considering how they showed how they valued Kenneth Walker. Yeah. That's not a conversation. No,
definitely not. JSN, absolute monster year. I've talked about my slight hesitations on him for fantasy football, not overall, but just, compared to the other top tier receivers. There's a couple of guys I would rather have, but there is no denying that JSN is just a total rock in general. So that was the big money move that happened over the last couple of days. And it has some effects on the Los Angeles Rams here with Puka Nacua, because Puka's also eligible for an extension. We've talked on this show about how, as much of a head case as he is, which we'll also talk about in a second,
why? What happened?
Oh, nothing. No big deal. I believe Puka's the best receiver in football, just in terms of his overall acumen between receiving, blocking, just effort on a play-to-play basis, that he is going to also reset the market. And so the Seahawks were very smart in getting this deal done before the Rams got theirs done with Puka, because they probably saved themselves a good little chunk of money. The Rams are now going to have to give Puka $43 million a year.
Why is that? Is that what his bail is set at, or?
Yeah, let's I guess we might as well touch on that. So, look, we don't really know what the specifics are of the situation yet. Here's what we do know. We know that Puka is accused of biting a woman and leaving a very aggressive bite mark and also saying more anti-Semitic things. There is no proof as of now of the anti-Semitic remarks. There is proof of the bite mark, which, to be fair, I don't even think his camp, denied. It was just we were just getting a little freaky, which is believable, to be fair. It's not like he bit her arm off. There wasn't any blood that I could see.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't
so.
What was it? It wasn't he was just there was some stuff going on.
There was no cannibalism going on here. So look, we have to wait and see what the details turn out to be. Normally, I am very, very hesitant to say that anybody accusing a player of doing something is doing it for money, and that's gonna be the same here because I'm seeing people say that in my replies. They're like, "Oh, you're chasing the bag." Look, maybe, but I'm not gonna jump to that conclusion yet. I'm gonna let everything play out. What I will say about it is, even if this does turn out to be nothing, which I suspect it will turn out to be nothing in terms of consequences, in terms of settlement, nothing's gonna happen here. This isn't like Rashee Rice where he's gonna be facing a suspension. And truthfully, even no matter what happens here, this is not as egregious as anything Rashee Rice has done. I just don't. I don't like the pattern with Puka.
I was about to say we're starting to hear too many off the field things about him. And I mean, granted, right now I feel like it's only 2 with the whole Aiden Ross thing and all this, but it's that's enough to just be
yeah.
It's like the Step Brothers goes, now the suits seem kind of fucked up.
Yeah. So, it kind of comes with the territory with these receivers sometimes. Stephon Diggs having his own stuff over the last couple years. Antonio Brown is the far end of the spectrum, but you've got,
Tyreek.
Receivers like to be problems. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, absolutely, probably the prime example.
At least A.J. Brown's just tweeting. That's all he does. He's not a problematic guy.
Look, it's
he's just kind of energy, Jesus Christ, attention seeking.
At the end of the day, for whatever reason, and I think this is probably the case for all professional athletes, but it seems like particularly at the receiver position, and I guess quarterbacks as well, you have to be a little bit mentally unwell to be as good at these positions as these guys are. And that can manifest itself in a lot of different ways. You've got the mentally unwell of whatever the fuck Pook is doing, whatever the fuck Diggs, Tyreek Hill like to do. And then you've got the mentally unwell of Amon-Ra St. Brown just being a fucking grind out, hardworking psychopath, but to the point where it's almost too far. A.J. Brown just being kind of weird. I don't know. Everybody's got something.
Amon-Ra's on more of the Michael Porter Jr. mental illness kind of grind than anything.
I don't think he's dumb, though. I think Michael Porter Jr. is fucking dumb. So, Michael Porter Jr.
And yet he's not even close to the dumbest Porter. Hello, John Tay.
Well,
how are you?
That's it.
Do you think they have YouTube in jail?
Yeah.
They probably
I think they actually make you watch YouTube in jail. I think they make you watch
us.
iShow Speed videos.
They make you watch us.
We gotta watch us. Look,
Guantanamo is blasting our shit right now.
Jonte Porter's looking at this podcast right now what he say fuck me for? It's sorry, Jonte. Porter family's not the brightest bulbs in the box.
I just love that every Porter in the NBA has to be a junior. There's no.
That is a very
there
weird.
There are 3 of them.
There's Kevin Porter Jr., Craig Porter Jr., Michael
yeah.
Porter Jr. I could have swore there was even more, but yeah, it is very strange. I don't know what it is about the Porter last name. This is going off the rails. Puka's an idiot. He's probably not going to get actually in trouble for this. End of story. But the trend is worrying. Is kind of our conclusion here. Puka is what's the word? Just he's festering. There's something bound to happen one day that's actually a problem with the way he's been operating lately. We've got another contract extension. This one was very confusing on the surface when I first saw it. Travis Kelce, who has been mulling retirement for the last several seasons, signed a 3-year, $54.7 million deal reported. Upon further investigation, it's not actually a 3-year, $54.7 million deal, as Pat cracks this Red Bull as quietly as possible. Crack open a cold one for the boys. It's not actually a 3-year deal. It is, in reality, a 1-year, $12 million deal that they are structuring as a 3-year deal so that they can spread that cap hit over the 3 years. And the $40 million that becomes guaranteed on June of 2027, I believe it is, is not going to hit. They are going to cut him before then. He's going to retire.
Or at least it's like, they can.
They'll restructure after that point if for some reason he decides to come back again.
Barring some kind of resurgence.
But Travis Kelce is back. He's essentially back on a 1-year, $12 million deal. Surprised by this at all? I mean, I think we talked about how this was probably the most likely outcome.
The Onion had an article where it said, Travis Kelce pissed, fiance signs him up for NFL for another season. No, I mean, because, like, there's been some fall off, but he's not terrible. Like, he's not terrible. And, again, a huge part of that franchise, a huge part of that locker room. And, I mean, he's still physically able to play. Like, he hasn't been having these kind of terrible injuries time after time after time. Like, he's kind of just a washed, like, we're talking all-time elite tight end, but just a little wash. But, I mean, it's Travis Kelce.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs do go like the tight end route in the draft. I know they've been a sexy.
I can see that.
They've been a sexy landing spot for Kenyon Sadiq.
Ooh.
Would be interesting. Certainly would dampen his value in like redraft leagues, but I think for dynasty or for following years purposes, definitely.
I'd even think for redraft that wouldn't be so bad with because with the Chiefs we're talking about an imprisoned Rashee Rice. An inconsistent Xavier Worthy, like even with Kelce and that, there's still a chance that a tight end there can have a decent...
I just find it hard to get too excited about a guy who's clearly competing with another tight end, let alone one as established as Travis Kelce, but also one that's clearly falling off as Travis Kelce is as well. You don't. That's what I mean. You don't know how much of a step back he'll take.
I would not hate him at all in redraft if he went to the Chiefs.
I think that's fair. Like I said at the top of the show, the signings that we have to pretend are important because it is March 25th.
I mean, one of these is significant enough.
This one?
I mean, he's the clear backup on a team.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it is. Granted, I'm thinking back on Zach Robinson, where it's like they use Tyler Algier a lot. No offense. So maybe this will mean nothing. I mean, I don't think it's too bold to say that this is a downgrade.
No.
Like Tyler, obviously Robinson has put up some more numbers, I guess, because he's had more opportunity. But Tyler Algier is just a flat-out better runner. So I actually think, if anything, this helps Bijan because the guy that will be supplanting him on certain drives is just not as good, not as effective. And again, obviously, we're talking about if something does happen to Bijan, knock on everything, you're talking about a prime handcuff here.
Yeah, I mean... The law firm of B. Robinson and B. Robinson is going to be, in full force this season. No, I agree with you. I don't think there was really any running back out there that would have made me be, again, nobody's going to make you worried about Bijan Robinson, but one that would even give me any sort of pause.
Jeremiah Love.
Oh, that guy. Well,
that's what I
yes,
exactly. That's what I mean.
But that would, do anything to even make you think twice about taking Bijan at the 101 or at the worst the 102 behind Jahmyr Gibbs. Those two are basically in just the exact same situation right now.
In lockstep.
So, yeah, I mean, look, the Falcons, they signed Brian Robinson. It's going to make for some very funny fantasy football mistakes when somebody out there in a casual league is inevitably going to take the wrong B. Robinson running back for the Atlanta Falcons. I am curious to see.
Or Bijan's going to fall all the way to the 13th round.
Bijan, just Bijan's on your bench. I am curious to see if anybody gets got in a trade on like Sleeper or something because it's just going to say B. Robinson Atlanta and could go either way.
Like, oh man, what a steal!
Whether they underpay for Bijan or overpay for Brian, I want to see those trades come through. If those happen in your league, send them our way because I need to see it.
It's like ESPN, at least as someone with inside information, we're big fans of the initials in terms of adding a second letter. Like if you go on ESPN box scores, it's going to say BI and BR Robinson.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fantasy apps are going to do that.
You could also just tell the difference by if one of them has more than 2 yards per carry. That one's Bijan, and the other one is Brian Robinson.
That too. So I actually do wonder now because obviously they were both B. Robinson, but they weren't on the same team, so they were able to be distinguished.
Yeah.
So I actually wonder, as you folks at home may know, I'm not working at the moment, so I don't know if they're going to do the initial, but I'll let you know when I do know.
The only thing that could make this meme better is that if Brian, I don't know if number 6 is available for the Falcons, but if you have double B. Robinson and then there's 6-7 as well, that's what I want out of this, just to put the cherry on top.
And I want to off myself out of
the cherry on top of the Sunday, the 6-7.
It's not funny anymore.
Backfield. That's the best part is that it's not funny because now I'm going to start doing it more. That's the best part. Now that the kids have said we've moved on from this, that is where my cue nephew comes
We're
in
middle-aged-
to beat
we're-
it the fuck to
We're
death.
getting close to being middle-aged white guys. We never let anything go.
No, never. More free agent signings. We've got the Bengals re-signing Joe Flacco. 1 year, $6 million. I believe he can earn up to 9 based on
Did you see
incentives.
the ESPN headline? The headline, it was elite longevity, electric.
Fuck.
Electric.
That's pretty good.
An all-time pull.
I thought you were going to ask me if I saw the ESPN headline about the quadriplegic that shot a guy while
Oh,
driving.
for the love of God. I saw something that said Oscar Pistorius kind of walked so this guy could kind of run.
I've never been so confused by a headline just because A, shot. B, professional cornhole player. C, driving? Wait, how does he do all
No
these
extremities.
How does
It's
he
like, remember the guy from the Portnoy pizza review with no feet? And he's
How's
just
he
like,
pulling that?
How's he pull? Oh, no,
How's he pulling that?
And then he stabbed people with his fucking feet. How's he? I'm not a huge Dave Portnoy fan, but that one is great.
That's an
His
iconic
bro was
clip.
just speechless. He's just like, Frankie, how's he pulling that? Pizza.
Anyway,
Everybody's
Joe Flacco. We had heard that this was a possibility as well, that the Bengals were basically going to allow Joe Flacco had the say in this, but Joe Flacco was going to try to pursue if there was any starting opportunities out there. It turned out there was not, and if not, he was going to come back to the Bengals. Turns out that is exactly what happened. Incredible move for the Bengals because of just how, they saw basically no difference between him and Joe Flacco last year.
That's
between
what I
Burrow
mean
and
is
Flacco.
the fact that, like, he knows that should something happen to Burrow, which unfortunately has been happening more often than you'd like it to,
Yeah.
he's in a great spot where he performs. So from their perspective, it's like great. And for his perspective, it's a great situation because, yeah, there might be other avenues where he could play based on merit or if the guy in front of him is fledgling. But what kind of situation is that going to be? You're 41 years old.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of a bag, back up Joe Burrow, and then if you do play, great.
Yeah, no, it's a great signing for them. Great insurance policy for a guy that is hurt all the fucking time.
God damn it.
unfortunately.
Alex said there were no fingerprints found at the scene, so he's innocent.
If the glove does not fit, you must. Okay. More quarterback news as we try to struggle through this show. The Saints have signed Zach Wilson.
Okay. Spencer
news!
Spencer Rattler is rattling in his boots right now.
Imagine being Spencer Rattler and you see Zach Wilson come in and you have to actually be threatened by that.
And you have to be like,
what a
hey, remember when
depressing
you were
existence.
remember when you were the second pick in the draft? Remember when you were supposed to be the first pick in the draft and then went in the 5th round?
Remember when you thought you were being done dirty by them starting Caleb Williams over you, and now you aren't even going to start for the Birmingham Stallions when you inevitably end up over there? The Falcons have signed Trevor Siemian, the first non-lefty quarterback to be signed to the Atlanta Falcons.
No, he's switching.
I was going to say, reports are they are going to force him to be ambidextrous just for consistency purposes. This might be the best quarterback on their roster.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Just saying. Simeon's coming. He's coming for the jobs and on everybody.
On the Phoenix.
Right? Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Simeon and the Phoenix. And they got 2 of them. We are 20 minutes into the show, and we're not even off the rails. We never even started on the rails, I think. We're just a train on a fucking dirt road.
They've got Phoenix with Simeon. Oh, no. Oh, no. The Falcons are just memeing with all their signings are memes. Fucking Tua, just because he's a lefty and also sucks like Penix does. Robinson, just because they can have double Robinson.
And then Seaman.
Falcons, I beg you to sign one free agent because you actually think they're good for your team and not so that we will laugh about it. Because so far that seems to be your primary scouting objective, is to make it really funny. The Eagles have finalized their trade for Andy Dalton. He has passed his physical. They now have the red rifle backing up Jalen Hurts, so good for them. Well, I guess they still have Tanner McKee. They're trying to trade Tanner McKee is what I keep seeing. There's low-key buzz behind Tanner McKee.
There always sort of has been.
Yeah, I know. He's always been considered one of those high upside backup quarterbacks. So I don't know. Trading for Dalton kind of makes me feel like they're going to trade Tanner McKee at some point. Maybe I don't know if it's during the draft. I don't know what teams are waiting for, but Maybe he goes somewhere that we can actually, see what he's got rather than just totally sitting behind Jalen Hurts. Because otherwise, I don't really know why the Eagles would want Dalton and give up a draft pick for him unless they were planning to get rid of old Tanner. All right, flag football, Pat. I mean,
oh, here we go.
Just the pinnacle of the offseason again. No, this was fairly entertaining. I didn't actually realize that this was going on. So I remember hearing the hype about it. And then I think the reason I ended up not noticing when it was actually happening is because it was supposed to happen in Saudi Arabia. That was the whole thing. Oh my God, they're going to pay all this money so that they could see Tom Brady play football again, and Logan Paul and I Show Speed are going to fucking play. And then they had to move it because of the war. So I think it kind of lost the hype. And
it's not a war. The media is calling it a war. I never called it a war. I never called the war a war.
Right. So they had to move it. And I feel like that's why it kind of lost steam. Or maybe I'm just so tunnel visioned on my own algorithm that I don't know why my algorithm wouldn't be showing me football.
I'm going to be honest. I don't give a flying fuck about this. Like I said, the only things I know about this are what you have written down right here. And then I read something, I believe it was on like Pro Football Talk, about how NFL players just like aren't meant for this as much as these professional flag players. Because I guess at the end of the day, it is a different game.
Well, and that's why. So catching up on what happened during these games, this is the continuation of, if you remember like a year or so ago, the flag football pros saying like, no, we're the ones that get to play in the Olympic flag football. They don't know what this is about. And they kind of got clowned on a little bit for that. I think I probably did some of the clowning too. But after seeing these games, the actual Team USA, led by him, I believe is Daryl Doucette, I think is his name.
If I know.
Hoosh is his nickname. I know that. They dominated.
Houshmandzadeh.
Not TJ Houshmandzadeh. They won every game by a pretty significant margin. And watching the highlights from the game, multiple games that they played against multiple teams of NFL players and Logan Paul and I don't know what the fuck was up with that. It is a much different sport, seeing how these guys move. And it is movement patterns that are not typical for NFL players. And so that is where the biggest difference came in. When I first heard about flag football coming to the Olympics, I was like, certainly NFL guys are going to be involved because they are just the peak athletes that we have in this country. Like, they would be nasty at flag football. They just don't play it, right? They're too busy playing real football. I think that's still true for some guys, and I think they will get better the more that they play. But seeing just to what degree it is a totally different sport was fascinating. NFL players are so used to having to move sort of laterally with their agility, like just juking guys out and spin moves and all that.
And using strength,
and using
breaking
strength,
tackles.
Right, not with flag football being non-contact. The biggest difference was the way the flag guys avoid being tackled is they're getting so low to where they're like, their knees are like just above the ground. And it's like, I can't even like describe it. It's not like a crab walk, but it's like, they are moving in ways NFL players don't move because NFL players have no need to move like that. No. Flag guys are doing it so that they can get their hips low to the ground and have their flags avoid the people grabbing at them. So it's a movement pattern not common for NFL guys. And so the original idea that I think a lot of people had that the more shifty NFL guys would be the ones with a chance at playing flag football. Your Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe your Devon A-Chan, your Zay Flowers, even like these smaller receivers and backs. That doesn't seem like that's going to be the case because there are guys playing pro flag football that move more agilely for the sport that they're playing than these guys do. However, what we learned as well is that there is an archetype of NFL player that is probably going to be able to play Olympic flag football. And I'm so curious to see what this USA team ends up looking like if it is a mix of the pro flag guys and a couple NFL guys.
They pulled Jamal Agnew. Great pull. I got Jamal Agnew. There's those special teams guys would eat this shit, man.
No, that's true.
What's Matthew Slater up to?
Yeah, Cavante Turpin. No, but those guys, like, even them, like, I don't think they move quite the right way. It would take a lot of, like, training to learn how to move that way forward while still dropping your hips like that. No, it was the bigger, better ball-skilled receivers that were dominating the sport because when you are just in the end zone and going up for a jump ball and these average flag football players are like 6'130", those guys have an advantage. Like Odell Beckham showed out in these scrimmages against the pro flag football team. DeAndre Hopkins showed out. Gronk showed out. Like
his hamstring pulled out.
His hamstring also tore itself.
So relatable, bro.
I mean, it is unfortunate.
I can't wait for my first return to slow pitch softball. That hamstring is coming off the bone.
So, yeah, it was interesting to see that that's the archetype of guy that might have a spot on a flag team. So just looking at like NFL guys who could be great for this sort of thing, I'm thinking guys like Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Drake London, A.J. Brown. These big guys, great ball trackers, go up and get that thing, because it's not going to be the guys that are able to like dodge people in the middle of the field, because they're not going to be able to.
Are those guys going to want to do it is my question. That's what I think it might be a case of, where it's like you're not going to be able to pull because of the NFL offseason and how demanding it is too. And it's like our team's going to want guys to go out there and risk getting hurt. Like, I don't think we're going to necessarily see some big... I think you're right. You're probably right in terms of who would do well, but I unfortunately see this sort of as being just kind of like a bit of a wet fart in terms of...
I think it's interesting because
star power.
There's no other chance for an NFL player to get a gold medal. I think that's going to be really enticing, personally.
Tyreek could go running...
From the cops? Yeah, he could.
All right.
No, I think guys are going to try. I don't know who's going to end up doing it. I think at the very worst, you will see guys like Odell or Hopkins.
I think we're going to see like C-list NFL guys. Like guys who you know, but not guys that you would consider being like a star.
You're going to get like Treylon Burks.
Exactly.
In there. Yeah.
Like,
I can see that.
Or maybe even a little better. Like, I'm trying to even think like
Jake Bobo.
Yeah.
Resign with the Seahawks.
Christian
They matched
Kirk,
the offer
like,
sheet, by the way.
They did, yes.
Christian Kirk, I feel like Christian Kirk's not big enough. But all that to say, Pat, you're building the team now. This is your job. Is
this going to be a funny thing or no?
Depends how you want to look at
All
it.
right.
It's going to be funny in the sense of what you may end up with versus what you'd really want to end up with.
Okay.
So we are going to do a keep 3, cut 5 flag football skill players. So Pat's team is essentially going to have quarterback Tom Brady and snapper/fullback Kyle Juszczyk.
My man.
And now
That's my man.
He is going to need to surround these guys with 3 NFL players who he thinks are best suited for flag football purposes. Based on what we just talked about, it's really going to favor these bigger ball skilly type of guys.
What I think is funny.
Or what you think is funny. That works too. So we're going to kick things off here. First player, Odell Beckham Jr.
I'm going to keep him because he seems like someone that kind of is like clinging to the spotlight.
He's going to try real hard.
That's what I mean. Like he's going to want to be involved. Like I absolutely expect him to be there in the Olympics in general. So I'll keep Odell.
Okay. Hold on. Before we continue, I'm going to turn this heater off because it's going to shut the
camera's going to die.
It's definitely going to die.
It's nice and toasty in here though.
I'm actually going to do that. And I'm going to open the window.
The Pat Show.
Crack it. I bet
Bo Melton. Get Bo Melton.
Bo Melton. I mean, honestly, maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Who was the Olympian? Like there was that special teamer that was an Olympian. Wasn't he on the Patriots?
Oh, yeah. He was a kick
Like an
return.
Australian
Jeff
guy?
Demps. I think it was Jeff Demps. Okay. We are keeping Odell Beckham Jr., who, I mean, look, apparently NFL teams are actually looking at him based on his flag football performance,
for the
which
love
is
of God.
very funny. Wandale Robinson is your next player.
I'm gonna cut him because you'd
Cutting Wandale Robinson.
You'd think that in theory he would be kind of this good possession guy, but
you don't need a possession receiver in a non-contact sport.
So we'll cut him.
All right. Next up, you've got Mike Evans.
Ooh.
Will the hamstrings survive flag football?
See, I'm going to cut him because whatever team he's on is not going to let him play because that man is just a walking fucking hospital visit at this point.
Okay. Cutting Mike Evans due to injury concern.
I'm being very practical.
The substation wants blood.
The very practical team building.
The
here.
substation demands sacrifice. Next up, you've got worse version of Mike Evans, slightly healthier, Cortland Sutton.
I'm just gonna cut him because there's nothing that exciting about him.
Okay.
So what I've got 2 keeps and 2 cuts left, I believe.
You've got
2 and 2.
You've got let's see, 1, 2. Oh God, I missed. Yeah, hold on. I only put 7 players here, so
So you're gonna pull one straight out of your rear.
I gotta pull one straight out of my rear.
No, do the
right
last
now.
one. So depending on if I have a keep left, you could just pull the worst player imaginable, and if I have
Okay.
a cut left, you could just pick the best player imaginable.
I'm gonna make him I'm gonna make him the second to last
Okay.
player, and it's gonna be hold on. What's
I still don't even.
okay.
I gotta figure
Yeah.
out my order for mine.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Yeah, I got my name here. Okay, so so far you've kept Odell Beckham Jr. You're cutting Wan'Dale Robinson, Mike Evans, and Courtland Sutton. Now, again, my plan for putting these guys together was to go off of guys that we think will be good in this. I felt like Courtland Sutton is a tall guy. Like he's
I think
be
he
good for
could,
that,
but I feel like
Mike
there's
Evans,
gonna be
same
more.
kind of thing.
I feel there's gonna be more exciting guys to pick here on my team.
You give
here.
me a lot of faith.
As opposed to Courtland Sutton, who is just like, yeah.
That's true.
There he
That's true.
is.
Courtland Sutton is very much eat your vegetables, milk kind of guy.
Okay. Big milk guy.
Big milk guy. Next up, Pat, we've got a personal favorite for you. Put him in here just for you. Michael Wilson.
Oh, keep.
Okay.
You gotta keep Michael Wilson again because
He's a big guy.
he's a big guy. And he can only step out of Marvin Harrison's shadow. Even though Marvin Harrison's shadow is like made of poopy, he can only succeed when Marvin Harrison is not in the picture.
Big, stinky
So
shadow.
we're going to put Michael Wilson on the squad with Odell and Brady.
Okay. I like it. Wow. What a squad.
So one keep, 2 cuts. Okay.
Next up, George Pickens.
I'm going to cut him just more so to keep my options open here. I also feel like he's gonna hold out. He's gonna demand a bigger contract from the flag football team, and is gonna unfortunately have to hold out. Hence, bringing in a replacement. Okay.
Okay. Cutting arguably the best option for flag football as a guy who is big.
Bro is
lanky,
gonna be punching.
I think
and
probably
he's gonna get tossed every game.
The literal best ball skills, like jump ball skills in the NFL. Cutting George Pickens to keep your options open.
Yep.
Is wild. All right. Next up, especially knowing that one of the next 2
He's gonna
guys
be
I just pulled out of
Yeah,
my ass.
yeah.
This is the pulled out of my ass player, Tyquan Thornton.
Get the fuck out of here. Who am I keeping?
Okay, we're cutting Tyquan Thornton. Well, you didn't fall into my trap as much as I thought you would, because I did save a good player for last.
Yeah.
So you are keeping, I will start with cutting. You're cutting Wan'Dale Robinson, Mike Evans, Courtland Sutton, George Pickens, and Tyquan Thornton. You are keeping Odell Beckham Jr., Courtland Sutton, and Bijan Robinson.
Oh!
I gave you a back. I gave you a back with good receiving skills, receiving chops.
I do think I'd rather have Pickens, but like I'm happy with how, both from a practical and how much I made me giggle perspective, I'm happy with this.
I think from an optimal selection standpoint, the right 3 probably would be Bijan, Pickens, and Evans, I would say, injuries aside. But, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you didn't end up having to keep fucking Tyquan Thornton. So, I mean, I guess that's a W for you at the end of the day. All right, that's Pat's keep 3, cut 5 for flag football, guys. Moving on here to some NFL draft rumors. Man, I wish I had the NFL draft thing here. I do have, let's see, what should I do for the NFL draft? How about the classic?
Duval.
Just all purpose. It's like an all-purpose cleaner, you know? It's
Sure.
like a nice...
The Jaguars will be drafting people.
It's like a nice Clorox wipe. Adam Schefter says he doesn't see Jeremiah Love going to the Titans or Giants, but says the Commanders make sense. This is the kind of intel that you want to keep an eye out for as the draft draws closer, because there's really no reason for him to say something like this unless there were real legs behind it. Schefter doesn't come out and say things unsolicited, especially when you look at the draft and you see a very clear fit for Love, at least to the Titans,
but
maybe not so much the Giants.
I guess you just see, the Commanders are closer to contending considerably. So throwing a stud running back into the mix there would help them sooner. And then teams like the Titans and the Giants still have so many more needs, especially the Titans. You know, like they're basically right now, they're still Cam Ward, whatever they get here.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense. Like, do I see the Titans coming away with the running back in the earlier rounds? Sure. But yeah, this adds up to me. And especially now with the Chiefs out of the equation.
Yeah.
Potential to trade up there. Yeah, the Commanders seem like a good fit.
No, I think it tracks. But again, just interesting with how badly the Titans do need a running back, because now you sit here and wonder, well, if they're not taking Jeremiah Love, who the fuck is their starting running back going to be next year? Are they just running it back with Tony P and Tyjae Spears? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like
I think there will be someone else in the mix,
optimal-
but even if it's not Jeremiah Love,
Is Devin Singletary a free agent?
Oh,
He can
for
come. He can
fuck's
come hang out with Dayball again. Yeah, no, interesting that Schefter is explicitly, removing the Titans and the Giants.
the
from the
insiders
conversation.
usually aren't take farmers.
Right, at least
there's
yeah.
usually some kind of, except John Heyman, he just talks because agents tell him to. But
Yeah.
but no, Schefter, there's usually some kind of substance behind whatever that bitch is. I mean, that guy's talking about.
Agreed.
It's my colleague, sorry.
Right. So I think based on that, we're starting to think more about where these skill guys are going to end up in the league, right? There's a lot of receivers that are expected to go in the first round of this NFL draft. So I figured it would be a good time to go through what I believe to be the ideal landing spots for all of these first round skill players, and the quarterbacks not included, just to try to see what we should be rooting for as a fantasy football community. There are spots where it would make sense for these guys to go, where they would be a wide receiver too. But that's not necessarily the optimal fit for fantasy football purposes. So going to go down the list here of all these skill players, see where the realistic places are in the first round that they could end up, where they would be the guy, where they would be really interesting fantasy football pieces in their first year in the league. What would be the best spots for these guys? So what's up?
Before we go, the NBA is expanding.
Oh, officially?
They are-
You're getting Sonics
The
and
Board of Governors has
and
approved a
Vegas
vote
Aces Part 2?
for the league to explore bids and applicants for expansive teams
Breaking news!
exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. A bidding process is expected to generate offers in the $7 to $10 billion range for
I got
each
that
team.
lying around.
I'll be honest, the idea of a modern day NBA expansion draft has me moist as shit.
I'm excited.
Like,
I've been
that is
wanting an
gonna
expansion for
be,
a
that
long
is going to
time.
be so much fun, and eventually MLB. Well, it's going to be way harder for MLB because you have all the whole minors, Jesus Christ, minor leagues. Not Wander Franco, calm down. The minor leagues, but oh god, the thought of an NBA expansion draft with new teams here, a team having to switch conferences. Tantalizing.
No, I
Tantalizing.
ever since I found out about expansion drafts as a wee lad, and that was a thing that happens, I've been hoping for one. And in our lifetime, there's been a few in the NHL. I'm talking other
yes.
leagues. NHL. There was one in the WNBA that I followed a little because there were UConn players involved. But for it to be in a main league that we really, really follow, I'm very
last
excited.
expansion in baseball I know was '95 with the Rockies. Yeah, Rays and Rockies. But
NFL was like 2001.
Texans.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, the thought of that is beautiful. That's
Luckily for me, the Denver Nuggets definitely do not have more than 8 usable players.
There's Simeon oozing out of my appendix right now, as Lucian pointed out. I had one other thing to say about it. I had one other thing to say about it. Oh, fuck.
Expand me, Daddy. Expand me.
Fuck.
I'm expanding.
I want you to fucking die. I don't remember. I had a genuine thing to say. I asked for that boing. Fuck. I had a genuine take. All right, back to fantasy football.
All right.
I'll think of it when I think of it.
Ideal landing spots for these first round skill players, what we should be rooting for immediate impact. Jeremiah Love. Commanders make total sense. Just to start with the rumor here already. Backfield only includes Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt and who did they sign?
Rashad White.
Rashad White. Thank you. Yeah, if I had that. Wait, hold on. Do I have anything that's? Fart.
We should just make record me going ew and put that on the board. Can we do that?
We could do that.
Okay, we're gonna do that.
Sure. Yeah, he would have that backfield all to himself on an offense that projects to be, pretty productive under the guidance and leadership of Jaden Daniels. Probably a more desirable landing spot than a team like the Tennessee Titans, even for fantasy football reasons. Just because that Titans team, like you said, is a little bit further away from being a real well-oiled machine that's going to be putting up a lot of points.
Well, yeah, Jeremiah Love would obviously help them, but
we saw
they
it
need
last
to
year.
build the foundation before you have the the star on top.
We saw it last year with Genty. Unfortunate Christmas tree, yes. Unfortunately, I had to take a little bit of an L on the Genty take last year. I mean, he still finished as an RB1, but that bar is just not that high when you have like 1 or 2 really good games. But we saw that play out with Genty, where people were warning about, the Raiders are one of the lowest projected point scoring teams this year, and guys in that situation don't tend to do very well for fantasy, and that played out. So I think if Jeremiah Love were to go to the Titans, you'd be looking at a very similar thing where, he can stand out, he can shine, he can have some really nice games, but I don't think you're going to get the consistency that you want in year one, even though I like what the Titans are doing. I like who they hired at head coach. OC I'm a little indifferent to with Brian Daboll, but I like Cam Ward. I like what they're building. I just don't know how much you'd be able to bank on it in year one versus the Commanders, which, I mean, we've seen them reach an NFC Championship game 2 years ago.
Well, the thing, too, with the Raiders is I think they were kind of content with being bad again last year. Like saying, hey, we're going to get our star. It's going to cost us in terms of team building. We're going to be terrible. We're going to have no O-line.
Yeah.
But then they're going to continue to build that team. The Titans actually seem in a bit of a better position because they have a quarterback.
Right.
They're in a better position now. So it's like if they did do it, I think we're looking at a better situation than Genty was last year with the Raiders. But yeah, I think it's going to go to a more established team. You have the Bengals mentioned here as well. No. Leave Chase Brown alone.
Just looking at any other feasible spot within the top 10.
Leave him alone.
Because if the Titans and Giants aren't going to take him, I guess that doesn't mean somebody can't trade up with them to go get Jeremiah Love. But if the Titans and Giants are theoretically off the table, according to Schefter, you're looking at the Browns after them. I just think they have other needs than running back. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I feel like they've got enough.
Who does hurt? Quinshon Judkins.
He does. He's in a lot of pain. Maybe not anymore.
He hurts people.
But that too. Looking at the other teams, like the teams picking after the Commanders, you got the Saints just signed a running back for $13 million a year. The Chiefs just signed a running back for $14 million a year. And then you've got the Bengals. And then the Dolphins, who have Devon Achane. So the Bengals are the only team anywhere near here where it's like I could see a slight desire for a higher end running back, but at the end of the day, I find it highly unlikely the Commanders don't just take him, or that if they don't want him, somebody else doesn't just trade up to that spot.
I was going to point this out, but then someone chat beat me and said my guy on the right looks like Daboll.
We know.
We
are well aware.
It's funny because I used to look like Matt. I have turned from Matt Patricia to Brian Daboll as my hair has gone away,
and as your beard length.
Yes, I keep the beard in check. You guys should have seen me back when I was in like high school, college, big beard, fucked up looking hair. Matt Patricia and I were fucking twins, man.
Beard has to be proportional to hair to some degree. Like, not that, like, obviously if you're bald, you don't have to not have a beard, but like it needs to be a shorter, tightened beard, I feel like most of the time.
Sometimes you could rock it.
You can, but like it can't like stick out, like when I was first growing this, I let it like stick out too much. And it looked
this
real
is
bad
long for me. Like I'm due for a trim. Like
No, I feel you.
I do look like Brian Daboll. And another team you mentioned here for running backs, the defending champs.
Yeah.
Seahawks. I mean, again, how terrifying would that be if they casually traded up for Jeremiah Love?
Yeah.
Because, again, that's a team where they're obviously good enough where they can go and take a skill position guy. In what, they clearly like Zach Charbonnet. When Zach Charbonnet's healthy, he'll be involved. We'll see quite how healthy he becomes, how healthy he is if he jumps right back in. You have him, you have Emmanuel Wilson. There is surely room for a running back addition in a high-level running back addition as well, whether it be Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price here.
Yeah, and as much as we like Emmanuel Wilson, I mean, as we've talked about, a lot of the times money talks with this kind of thing. 1 year, $2.1 million. So not a ton of investment, even if we do like the talent. So if they do draft a guy like Jadarian Price in the first round, it would be his backfield, at least until Charbonnet comes back, and then it probably becomes a fucking disaster. Okay, a lot of receivers here. Tried to go up and down, find the best spots for these guys for immediate production. Looking at Carnell Tate, the clear wide receiver one in the class, few spots he could go. This isn't my tippy top like favorite possibility, I guess, just because the quarterback situation is gross. But looking at just the total lack of target competition outside of a breakout tight end from last year, it's the Cleveland Browns. Jerry Jeudy blows, which I'm sorry to anybody that fell for the year of him going crazy with Jameis.
It was more of a Linsanity run. Like, I wouldn't even call that. Like, obviously his numbers for the year looked great, but so much of that was at the end of the year. Like I said, I had an iconic Epcot meltdown 2 years ago because of Jerry Jeudy and then my guy crashing in the NASCAR race. I was bringing that up to my dad because they were at the same track this year. and they were showing a replay of that. And I was at Epcot surrounded by families, and I just went, fuck, and spiked my hat just in broad daylight public. But yes, Jerry Jeudy made a crash out. He's not good. Unfortunately, he,
Any production.
thank God Henry Ruggs is in literal jail. Because if Henry Ruggs was halfway decent, then Jerry Jeudy would look like a huge bust. But the fact that he's literally still in the league and is not Henry Ruggs will kind of give him a pass there. But compared to CeeDee Lamb, no contest there.
Any production achieved with Jameis Winston as your quarterback can kind of be thrown out. It can
tough.
be exciting
It's
in the
tough,
moment,
sure.
but don't project it forward for what a guy can
And
actually
like we've
do.
seen, Cedric Tillman has had his moments, but there's nobody there right now outside of Harold Fannin that's really going to seize that opportunity.
Yeah.
But again, it's like they need to rebuild their offensive line. Obviously, the defense is there, but it's like, so again, do they go with a wide receiver early, or do they try to build their line? I think they go for a receiver here, and like you said, there are plenty of options.
Jerry Jeudy, as a receiver, drafted ahead of CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson.
Not Henry Ruggs.
Justin Jefferson.
Jalen Reagor.
T. Higgins. Go Jonathan Taylor for a little running back action. And
You didn't say Jalen Reagor.
Correct. Carnell Tate going to the Browns. Look, again, it's not going to be pretty every single week with Deshaun Watson or Shador Sanders or me at quarterback, but it's going to be at least he's going to get probably 10 targets a game. Like, there's nobody else that's going to earn those kind of targets, and they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So if Carnell Tate does turn out to stay in the great state of Ohio with the Cleveland Browns, I think it would lead to some pretty solid fantasy production. I don't know where. I mean, where does he land in drafts if he goes to the Browns? Yeah, where does he land in fantasy drafts?
I mean, I think he's a wide receiver too, more of a low end, I guess.
I'd bet fourth round.
It also depends on who else is there, who's the quarterback.
I'd bet fourth round because I'm thinking back to how people thought about Malik Neighbors as a rookie, and he was. I mean, granted, Malik Neighbors wasn't the wide receiver one, so maybe Tate even gets pushed up more. Malik Neighbors I took in the fourth round of our draft, and that was about where he was going.
But again, it's like, who's throwing him the ball? Is it Shador? Is it Groper Cleveland? Is it Dylan Gabriel?
It's bad options.
That's what I mean. So it's like that's sort of what's. But I mean, all it takes for a wide receiver to be relevant is for the guy to get him the ball. And it's like, can Shador support a top receiver? Can Ty Simpson support? Who? Stop being mean to Dan Orlovsky for saying that Ty Simpson was a better prospect than Fernando. Stop it.
You got to pick it. That's a tough spot for you to be in, though. You want to defend your Dano, but also
I don't want to defend Dano.
Defend your Mendoza.
That guy's a clown.
You told me to tell everyone to stop being so mean to Dan. Though.
I'm just joking because he posted He posted like a 50-year-old woman tweet, like of a sticky note that said like "Be kind," and everyone's just like, "Bro made such a bad post." Let me find it. Let me find exactly what it says. Now he's people often forget that kindness is free.
Oh, dear.
Like, bro had such a bad take that he literally had to tweet, "Stop bullying me or I'll cry, piss, and come." Like, relax. But yeah,
Don't tread on me or
back
I'll
to Ty
come.
Simpson, like, could he support, if he ends up with the Browns? We don't know. We don't know. That's the only thing that's keeping me that. Like, next guy you have here, Jordan Tyson to the Dolphins, for example. I'd much prefer him with Malik Willis and nobody else.
And that's always the balancing act you have to do for
It's
fantasy purposes is you get a guy in Jordan Tyson who is, I think, a clear at least tier or half tier below Carnell Tate in terms of pedigree, but is in a bit more stable of a situation with Malik Willis.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's
again,
not great still, but
and
it's
again,
a little better.
the only thing about the Browns, though, is, and as much as we clown on the Todd Monken hire, Todd Monken's a really reliable offensive coordinator, a steady guy. So it's like, I can do the fart, yep. So it's like, a quarterback can be somewhat elevated, and he's not going to be this QB whisperer. But then neither is fucking Bobby Slowick. That's what's so tough about this. But again, so much of fantasy football is opportunity. And these guys, if whoever goes to the Browns, whoever goes to the Dolphins, they're going to have a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. So as we said, the next one on here was wide receiver Jordan Tyson to the Dolphins. Just looking at the draft order here, I mean, after you get past the Browns, you got Commanders, Saints, Chiefs, Bengals. I think all have some bigger needs there than wide receiver. I mean, I guess the Saints, you could make an argument, but I feel like they would go another position.
What do they even have behind Olave? Is Tommy Lee Lewis still around?
Devon Vele.
That's right. They traded for him. And I mean, Jawan Johnson.
So there's a need there. I feel like they go line or something like that.
I do too. I mean, they showed last year that they had a pretty good offense with just really funneling through Olave, who I love Olave again.
Maybe they'll bring back Michael Thomas. You get down to number 11 and you see the team that just traded away Jalen Waddle, and as we've discussed many times, has just absolute utter dog shit at receiver.
Well, they also have like 100 picks in the first 2 rounds.
Right.
So it's like you could say like, oh, they have so many other needs, and it's like, yeah, they'll address them by day 2.
Yeah.
They have so many picks in the first 2 days.
And they could always make this pick at number 30 as well and get a slightly lower tier wide receiver in the first round. It is a fairly deep class, but for now, I do have them getting Jordan Tyson. I think in a strong receiver class, you would probably want to get a guy like this to build around and look toward the future with. So Jordan Tyson of the Dolphins for fantasy.
I'm getting a phone call.
It's fine.
I'm not answering it.
Jordan,
it's from my physical therapy office. I'm starting physical therapy again tomorrow. I'll call them later.
Very, very important. Got to make sure that back don't get blown out again.
I'm getting my fucking staples ripped out today. There's like 30 of them in my back. It's going to be rough.
I'll take them out with my teeth. Jordan Tyson being the only guy with the Dolphins would be pretty juicy for fantasy purposes, I would say. Then we go down to the next wide receiver landing spot, Mekhi Lemon, who is getting a lot of negative pub, which is unfortunate. I feel like
every
undeserved.
villain is lemons.
Fuck. I feel like it's unfair. But I've got him going to the Ravens. I think that would be the best landing spot for him. You know, this is definitely the most competition of the teams we've mentioned so far, because as much as I don't really like Zay Flowers, he's still a solid professional wide receiver.
He's gonna get work.
Yeah, but going to a team, it's also the best quarterback I've mentioned by far. So again, you've got the give and take here of the situation. So I think Mekhi Lemon going to the Ravens, they have been needing a real second wide receiver for quite a while.
I will say, I guess it is sort of skipping around, not to skip around, but it's like I could see them as a landing spot for Kenyon Sadiq. I really can. Again, with Andrews on the decline. Again, he's not a useless player yet. Like, he's still going to catch his fat ass in the end zone a lot.
Or drop it
in the end zone. Yeah. So it's like, I think at 14 there, I think a pass catcher should be the fucking Raiders pick too. Fuck you. Do you know how bad I wanted like Jordan Tyson at 14?
Hey, you get Max Crosby.
That was the excitement, because you get Fernando, you get that, and then you have the 34th.
It could even
pick
be a
whatever.
boat.
So it's like, ugh.
Yeah,
but the Ravens are a good opportunity there. You've got the Eagles here too, which is interesting. I think that is probably speculation for an AJ Brown trade.
I'm past the point of like being biasly optimistic, and I have very much reached the point of I'm pretty confident this is just going to happen. Like, every sign is pointing toward AJ Brown being traded after June 1st because the dead cap hit becomes so much less. I think he's going to be traded. I think he's going to be traded to the Patriots, but even if not, I could see him going to the Rams. I think his time as an Eagle is over, and if that is the case, they are going to need another receiver. I mean, just Devonta Smith is not going to be enough for a team trying to win a Super Bowl. For fantasy purposes, Devonta Smith becomes an early second-round pick at worst, I would say. So yeah, this is Omar Cooper Jr. to the Eagles is speculative of an A.J. Brown trade that I am all but guaranteeing is going to happen at this point. So I think that makes a lot of sense for him and for them, for him to get that early production. And then similarly here, involving a team I just invoked, the Patriots, I've got wide receiver KC Concepcion, who as much as I don't watch a lot of college football, I did watch him a lot this year because I catch a good amount of A&M games. He is really fucking good, and I love him. He is just a shifty, great hands, like good instincts type of wide receiver, and I think putting him next to a guy like A.J. Brown, this team needs a wide receiver refresh pretty badly.
They have for years, man.
They have for years, and it's like looking at what Drake May was able to do with Kayshon Boutte and Stephon Diggs and Demario Douglas. Imagine what he could do with A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs and KC Concepcion. Like, I guess assuming a Brown trade happens, it's probably a little bit crowded of a situation for Concepcion for fantasy. But when you get, if we're talking like late in the first round here, I feel like that's about as good as you're going to get in terms of the quarterback he's playing with, in terms of just, I feel like he'd clearly be the number 3 wide receiver and would play a lot of snaps for this team. So I'm going to put KC Concepcion to the Patriots, mainly just because I really want to see it. And also in case a Brown trade doesn't happen, he'd be even higher up in the priority list. Him and Romeo Doubs would be holding it down themselves. And then finishing out with the tight end position, really only one tight end definitively going in the first round, Kenyon Sadiq. I've got him to the Panthers.
Yeah, I think the question there is just, does he fall to 19 or do they jump up? Because, like, you look in that early, again, the Dolphins could obviously be a candidate there. I mentioned Baltimore. As much as I love Mason Taylor, I think the Jets are going to be looking for whatever kind of talent they can get. You're looking at teams like, God forbid, the Chiefs take him at 9. The Bengals decide they want a tight end for once in their lives. I do think the Panthers is the best fit. They haven't had a good tight end since Greg Olsen.
Yeah, no.
Seriously,
I mean,
it's Jatavian Sanders and Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas.
For a team that's doing everything else to suggest that they're trying to be real contenders and make a Super Bowl run, that's a position where
really don't have anybody.
Let's stop trying to make Tommy Tremble and Jatavian Sanders
exactly.
So, and I liked Sanders for a while, but it just hasn't.
Again, if he gets to 19, then I think that's a slam dunk pick. I think that's just what it becomes is like, hey, like, does he get there? But yeah, a clear need.
Absolutely. We will probably do a full mock draft live.
Oh, we usually do that the week before.
Yeah, closer to the draft. We got a couple weeks left here to go.
Holy shit! When is
that.
The draft?
April 27th.
So Dear fucking God.
Yeah, we've got a little over a month to fit that in. But yeah, we will do a full mock draft at some point. For now, we just want to get.
I got to lock in. Jesus.
We just wanted to get the skill players a little primer out there. So again, ideal landing spots for fantasy football production purposes. Jeremiah Love to the Commanders, Jadarian Price to the Seahawks, Carnell Tate to the Browns, Jordan Tyson to the Dolphins, Mekhi Lemon to the Ravens, Omar Cooper Jr. to the Eagles, KC Concepcion to the Patriots, and Kenyon Sadiq to the Panthers.
Definitely a lot of fantasy impact.
Absolutely. That would be, all those guys would be startable players in fantasy football and in some spot in your lineup. Moving on from football things, Pat, because it is that time of year. March Madness is upon us. First weekend is in the books. I think it was a good first weekend.
I'm going to tell you,
it was fun.
Think people just look at it from the perspective of huge moments, huge upsets. Did we have them? Not really. I thought the first 2 rounds were fantastic.
Yeah.
Because Cinderellas are awesome. Don't get me wrong. Finding these stories, these players, these coaches in March is great. But at the end of the day, you want good basketball.
Yeah.
And these top teams, like these 16 teams remaining, all of them are really fucking good. Like, there's not a team where you look at and you're just like, oh, they're like, I guess it's Texas being the only. But again, it's Texas. They're in the SEC. Like, they played a terrible schedule because they're Texas. So it's like, there are a lot of good teams. And I think there's like upwards of 10 teams right now that have a legitimate shot to win the title. Like, I think this is, again, exciting, but in terms of quality basketball, this is as excited for a Sweet 16 as I've been in a long time. Like, Houston, Illinois, Duke, St. John's, UConn, Michigan State. There's matchups everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah. No, there are fantastic matchups. I think, I'll say this, and I tweeted this as well. Anybody who is equating this year to last year is not watching the games. Like, saying that this is the same, it's not. I understand looking at the brackets from the last 2 years and seeing that neither year had any sort of actual underdog or Cinderella making a run and equating that. But if you are actually sitting and like a degenerate watching 12 hours of basketball a day for 4 days straight.
As long as I stayed awake.
Yeah.
Whenever I was awake in that, I was watching.
Know that this tournament has had a drastically different feel than last year. There have been great moments. There have been, even if the upsets haven't materialized, there were teams playing close. I mean, Siena gave Duke a scare in the first round. Furman gave UConn a scare. Like,
there were also so many games that were, the score did not indicate the total, the game. Like, even UConn.
Yeah.
That UConn didn't win that game by that many points.
No.
Like, there were a lot of games where it was close and the things got out of the way. I mean, of course, I slept through the fucking Kentucky ending in the first round, and I had Santa Clara.
Oh,
So I fell asleep. I fell
Probably
asleep
the
hopeful,
best- well,
and I wake
second
up and
best
see
game.
a replay, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But this is also just an incredible display of basketball. Like I'm looking right now at NBA mock draft. We got tons of these top.
it's
prospects.
an insane draft.
Cam,
It's so insane.
Cam Boozer, Kingston Flemings, Keaton Wagler, Nate Ament, Darius Acuff, Jaxon Lenneborg,
They're all still
Braylon
alive.
Mullins, Chris Sinash, Koa Pete, Braden Berries. These guys are all still playing.
Yeah.
Like we are witnessing really good teams with really good players, and that's exciting. Let alone like a guy like our mortal enemy Zubi Ejiofor,
Ugh.
Big East Player of the Year, who was just like
Him-
so good.
Him and
Like,
if I hear his name or
him-
Vocatitis' name one more time, I'm
late
going to kill myself.
2000s, Zubi Ejiofor would be the first fucking pick in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
That guy is so nasty. He's just kind of, in the wrong era to be an undersized big. But there's just so many good teams, so many good players. What's your bracket look like? My Final Four is fully intact.
Mine would have been fully intact if I didn't change it at the last minute, but I don't have any regrets because the only team I've lost from my Final Four is a team that, as far as I'm concerned, made that shot at the buzzer, which is Vanderbilt. Incredible ending there.
I had them in the Elite Eight as well.
Yeah,
My
so
goodness, dude.
they are the only Final Four team I lost. Other than that, still have Duke, Michigan, and Purdue alive. So, it's fine. It's just with how relatively chalk the tournament has gone, my bracket is doing garbage, like in terms of the percentage that it's in. I did have Iowa over Florida, so I will take that one to the
Nice.
bank.
I'm not upset about that because I did have Vanderbilt beating Florida anyway.
Yeah.
So that was one of those where I was like, cool, fuck you, Florida. Fuck
Yeah,
you, Todd.
so-
The meme where it's like me liking every Todd Golden hate tweet and it's the old people at the casino.
Yeah, so I
go to the
cannot
casino.
I cannot win our bracket pool anymore. I can still finish top 3 if Michigan wins it all because there were not a lot of people picking Michigan to win it all in our pool. There's only 4.
I'm sure I can.
So
with
I
my Final
believe
Four left.
I believe if Michigan, Purdue, and Duke all make the Final Four, or even if it's just Michigan and Purdue, because I guess so many people have Duke, it probably doesn't matter. I guess he'll finish top 3, but yeah, overall brackets, doing meh. But yeah, like, look, as much as I would love to see a Cinderella still alive, like a mid-major, any seed lower than a 10 that's not the fucking Texas. Yeah, totally would love to see that. But overall, like, I'm not at all disappointed by this
We are
tournament.
going
I
to
don't
get
know
to
how you
sit
can
down
be.
again Thursday for the next 4 days and watch
Yeah.
fantastic basketball.
Just absolutely fantastic basketball. So I think the question is, Pat, do you think Cinderellas are dead? Because we had this conversation on the show, and I was very staunchly against the idea of pronouncing them dead after one tournament because we've seen those one-off tournaments happen before. Now, I have to come on and admit, like, it's happened again for a second straight year. Although the entertainment value has been much better than last year, it is a pattern now that we are seeing mid-majors not really advance, at least not beyond one game, if they even win one game. So
At
what
the end of the
what are your
day, the
thoughts?
way I see it is just that, like, the better teams are winning. And with NIL these days, like, you look at, I forgot there was a player who, like, didn't play at all for 2 years at Virginia, went to Delaware, was freshman of the year in the conference, and immediately jumps into the portal. Again, I don't blame these kids. These kids can go get an opportunity to play high-level college basketball, go get something of a bag, get more money than you would have, because, again, you're playing for your image and likeness. But it's just, like, Central, for example, everyone knows I'm a huge Central Connecticut man. 4 starters in the portal. 4 starters in the portal. It's just like, again, a team like Central's not going to do anything in the tournament. Though Fairleigh Dickinson did win a game. But it's just so hard for these mid-majors and low majors because if they do anything, they're going to go up. Whether it be a low major, jump up to a mid-major, or a mid-major, jump up to a high major.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen kids from Yale on these teams in the last few years having such a huge impact. It's just so difficult now in the NIL era for these teams to really survive. You're basically just hoping that someone at a high major didn't play much and wants an opportunity. Like Central, for example, they had a kid from Arkansas this year because he didn't play much at Arkansas, couldn't get any money. So, but now he goes and has a nice year at Central, right back in the portal.
Yeah.
It's so difficult.
Yeah. I think, I think in this format, yeah, you're bound to see less. I also think that there is going to be regulation coming at some point, and when that happens, they'll be back on the menu a little bit. Because I think the best solution I've seen is, as far as just limiting transfers, you get one free transfer when you enter college, and then you can transfer again if your coach leaves. And I think that's fair.
Or you have to sit out a year, like
or you have to sit out a year. Yes, because right now it is too much of when these mid majors go on a run, they lose all their players the next year.
They lose their coaches.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The coaching thing was already happening, and there's really no way to stop that. So it's like they are now getting it from both sides, where it's just so impossible to sustain things.
If you lose your coach that recruited you, you absolutely should get a free transfer. No question.
Yeah, agreed. But just for example, and this is a team that actually won a game this year in spite of this, but at High Point, you remember High Point last year gave whoever they played a pretty good run in the first round. They lost their leading scorer to Ole Miss. Their second leading scorer was a senior. He graduated, and they lost their third leading scorer to UNLV. And this is what happens anytime these guys get any kind of spotlight after having a good tournament run or tournament effort, or even just a good overall regular season. These smaller schools cannot retain these guys. And I don't want to prevent them from going to a bigger school and getting more spotlight on themselves, but that's why I'm saying one free transfer based on whenever you think your skill level has reached a point where you want to go to that next level and showcase your talents at a bigger school. And then one again, if your coach leaves. But I do think we need to do something like that, to prevent it from being literal free agency every offseason.
Or obviously if you're a grad transfer as well. It's always been free. But we're seeing a lot of guys now go and get their degree in 3 years so they can graduate. That's been more of a trend now too, where guys are getting. But in the COVID year also messed everything up. Alex Caravan's been in college since 2010 for all I know. That guy
He's only played 4 seasons though.
It's crazy, because he enrolled late. He enrolled and redshirted. Yeah. But that's the thing is again, or you either have I believe in the one free transfer, but you see guys that have been on 5 teams.
Yeah.
Remember Javonte Brown on UConn, that big.
Yes.
He played at 4 fucking schools.
Yeah.
And Vance Jackson played at 5 different schools.
Yeah.
It's just that's crazy, man.
It is crazy.
And it's I guess at the end of the day, if you just straight up go somewhere and you don't play and you make a bad decision, sometimes in life you have to pay for those bad decisions. And that bad decision is sitting out a year, which used to be a very viable thing. But then with all the waivers coming out, all the hardships, and then eventually the NIL just broke the dam.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, again, as a fan of a very low major program, that I don't want to speak because I don't know this for sure, but it's what I've been told. Central has $0 in NIL. They do not have NIL money. They do not have NIL money.
That makes it hard to keep anybody ever if they have a good player. So,
a fan collective tried to start it, which I was, a member of. Got struck down by the university.
That's crazy.
So it's they do not have any NIL money. So again, you're basically just finding kids out of high school who didn't have a chance, or guys from mid-majors who maybe need to drop down a little. But again, they got a guy from Siena, their center. Great job. Yada, yada, yada. Boop, right back in the portal.
Yeah.
Again, I don't blame him.
It's unsustainable. Something's going to have to change.
And the joke is that Central's coach is going to go to Siena and the kid's going to go back. He's going to go back to Siena.
All right. Next order of business. UConn, baby, is still alive through the first weekend of March Madness. You would assume this would be a given as a 2 seed, but they like to stress us the fuck out every single game they play. So
it's also some of the circumstances they've encountered, being that their floor general, I believe he's really hurt.
I think so.
too. I would not be surprised if he had a torn ligament in his ankle. Genuinely, I think we're talking about Silas Demery here, who has been fantastic.
Yeah.
When he doesn't score, he's passing the ball. He plays aggressively on defense. He's been fantastic. He missed the opener against Furman, and he played clearly hobbled against UCLA. That I didn't even see the tip for that game. I was asleep. I've been having some serious.
The tip times are brutal. I
think I genuinely have long COVID. So it's I just sleep all the time. So a 9:45 tip Friday night is going to be asking a lot out of me. But, and then to have, your two best players in theory just disappear.
Yeah.
Solo ball, I love the kid. He has been terrible.
Terrible. And offers nothing defensively
And
either.
I was going to say, the thing is like, it actually kind of bodes well because he's not going anywhere now.
Yeah.
Like he projected as a potential first-round pick had he had a strong year, especially with this draft class.
Yeah.
Brother is not going anywhere. Yeah. It's really sad. Like, he doesn't belong on the floor.
No, he doesn't.
Especially,
he offers nothing.
Again, I talked about it a few weeks ago. Jaden Ross has been unbelievable. Just a relentless defender. A guy that is going to give you 100% effort every opportunity. And then he drops 11 points. He hits a couple threes. So it's like, that's the kid that should be on the court.
Yeah,
and Braylon
100%.
Mullins, who projects to be a late lottery pick, has lost his three-point shot. Thankfully,
started to find it a little.
Thankfully,
Yeah.
his floater game is fantastic, and he gives great effort on defense.
Yeah.
He's not the best defender in the world, but he's a lot more athletic and a better defender than he's kind of painted to be, this little white guy that can shoot the ball.
Right.
He's so much more than that.
Yeah.
But Terrace,
Big Daddy Reed.
that was one of the biggest was it 32 and 27?
31 and 27. Yeah.
Just one of the biggest backpack jobs I've ever seen.
And
I said it early in the game to my dad. I'm like, he has 9 rebounds. I'm like, they need to feed him the ball.
Well, it's
constantly.
like against a team like Furman where, two totally different levels of programs, it was like you didn't really see evidence of the different levels of program outside of Terrace Reed, where it's like, oh my God, he's just bigger than anything they can ever deal with. And he out-rebounded them literally by himself.
He's got great moves in the paint. He's got soft hands. He's just a really good player. And
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see. I mean, he'll get a look in a camp next year.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets drafted. But, again, my hope for Silas Demery is just that, like, it's not too bad and he's good to go for next year. Because he is coming back in theory. I don't see him transferring.
No.
Also, Malachi Smith, phenomenal job
Yeah.
in his play. Again, he was the first team All A-10 last year. He could have gone wherever the fuck he wanted. And then he went to UConn as a backup. And he did a great job filling in as the floor general. Another relentless defender. I think it ends Friday night, which was what I had in my bracket. I think that
Pat calling for the death of UConn.
I just think
Time of death, 1 a.m. Friday.
Michigan State has just played really solid basketball. Jeremy Fears has been a stud. Again, I love the fact that his younger brother is in the NBA right now.
I know.
And Jeremy will be there next year as well, but Jeremy Fears, and again, it's January, February, Izzo. They never win the whole fucking thing, but they're always in the mix. And right now, I think they are just so stable and so fundamentally sound that a team like UConn that is not very stable at the moment, I just think this is it. I don't think they, obviously I'll be watching, hopefully, and rooting for them like crazy, but I think they're done. I think
Alex Karaban is a man on a mission. I think he
goes without saying,
he has taken so much advantage. If you watch those first 2 games, obviously Terrace Reed dominates, and then UCLA comes in and says, we're not letting him do that. And who benefits the most? Alex Karaban with a literal career high against UCLA, 27 points. I think that trend continues where you either need to pick between not letting Terrace Reed stop you, or if you are selling out to make him stop you, Karaban's going to make you pay. And God forbid either of Solo Ball or Braylon Mullins start to figure out how to shoot.
They need Mullins or Ball to just
Mullins,
be
again,
competent.
started to find it a little at the end of the UCLA game, so maybe he can carry it over. I think they're going to keep it going. Just to go through the rest of this bracket, I think Duke's going to beat St. John's. UConn's going to beat Michigan State. I'll take Iowa over Nebraska, Houston over Illinois, Arizona over Arkansas, and Purdue over Texas. I think Purdue is going. Oh, sorry, and then Michigan over Bama, and Iowa State over Tennessee.
Let me look at mine.
And then, I mean, your Final Four is still alive, so I guess really no reason to change it unless you've seen something that deters you.
I'm not going to change it because right now I have St. John's, Houston, Arizona, and Michigan.
Yeah, so I would have.
Pretty chalky.
I would have Duke, Houston instead of my original pick of Vanderbilt. Purdue and Michigan, still Michigan-Duke title game, and Michigan winning it all. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I think Purdue wins. I'll go with Iowa over Nebraska.
I did too. Yeah.
Bowl.
Yeah.
I'll go with Iowa, and I'm going to stick with. I think Arkansas. I like Arkansas a lot, but Arizona again just so sound. And I'll go Houston. I like Houston -3 in that game as well. I wrote about that this morning.
All right.
I like Michigan State. I like St. John's. I like Michigan, and I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee a lot right now. Give me
I mean,
Tennessee.
Iowa State with the
Give me Tennessee
Joshua Jefferson injury is
give me Tennessee over
struggling.
Iowa State. That Tennessee's been a team that I only had winning one game. Didn't think much of them. They look great.
I wanted Miami, Ohio to beat them. All right, that is our bracket. Looking ahead for the rest of the tournament here, or I guess our second chance bracket. We're going to finish things out with a little Keep 3, Cut 5 of Cinderella stories in honor of Cinderella's possibly temporarily being dead until some regulations happen within the NCAA. But we're going to go through some of the most, and maybe some of the least iconic Cinderellas to go through March Madness in history. Pat is going to fire them off. I'm going to decide which ones I'm keeping, with my goal, obviously, to be having a squad of the 3 best Cinderella runs that I can put together. I kind of let Pat take this in whatever direction he wanted. I don't know if these are all going to be good Cinderellas. I don't know if these are going to be, he might throw a fucking soccer team in here just so I don't have the right teams here as a group. So, Pat, feel free to get it started. I won't look.
I'm going to go with the most recent Cinderella team we've had here.
Okay.
2024, 11 seed, North Carolina State, led by DJ Burns, made it all the way to the Final Four.
So tough, because that is as far as you can reasonably expect a Cinderella team to go, right? Like, we've never seen a true Cinderella go further than that. I guess, I don't know.
I do have a champion on this list.
Really?
They're not a huge Cinderella, but I would say it's not the lowest seed to ever win either, but I think it's the most. I think you know.
Yeah,
I think you know what it is.
Okay. And see, even though I know who that is, I'm gonna have to decide whether that qualifies for me as far as the best Cinderellas ever. Look, Cinderella's usually Final Fours as far as they're going to go for a double-digit seed, right? I don't know what seed Butler was when they lost the first time they went.
I believe they were an 11, both 11 or 10.
So that felt like the most unlikely sort of run. They obviously didn't finish the job.
Man, that Gordon Hayward made that half-court shot,
Oh, man.
Oh.
That's what that Vanderbilt shot reminded me of from this weekend. It was brutal.
That one, literally the ball was this far.
It was
the net.
insane.
Crazy.
It was insane. If that ball is inflated by 0.5 fewer PSI, that thing goes
Get Tom
in.
Brady on it.
Seriously. I'm going to cut NC State only because they're NC State. Like, when you're thinking of Cinderellas, I don't want to go with these sort of high major programs. I know they're still the little brother to North Carolina. I know they've, got a natty in their belt from the Jim Valvano days, but it just, when I think Cinderellas, I'm going to hold out room for a mid-major. It's not that I don't like them as a Cinderella.
Yeah.
I certainly like them more than, let's say Texas goes to the Final Four this year. That's much worse of a Cinderella than NC State.
Because they don't have a funny, huge, fat guy like DJ.
I was going to say, that's what makes it harder to cut them. That's what makes it harder to
Mm-hmm.
cut them, because of the character of a guy like DJ Burns. But I have a lot of these other Cinderellas in mind. I don't know which ones you're bringing to the table here, but I am going to cut NC State.
All right, second up. 1983, NC State. Jimmy Valvano.
Okay.
They beat Ralph Sampson in Houston on the missed shot that turned into an alley-oop dunk to win the championship. Again, they are 8 seed Villanova is the lowest seed to ever win a championship. But in my opinion, this is the most unlikely winner here.
What seed was NC State?
They were a 6 seed.
They were 6.
So not necessarily a Cinderella, but again, just going up against fucking Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, no, it's an insane finish to that story for sure. I think I'm gonna cut this team as well.
I think that's fair.
Just because of the seed, in terms of single game accomplishment, it is a gigantic accomplishment. It makes me think of Tom Brady's first Super Bowl against the Rams, where it was like they had no fucking business winning that game, or UConn's first title against Duke, where it was like they had no business winning that game. Sure. And so, insane underdog story, not as much of a run, I would say.
And it's also way beyond our time. That's the only one I have on our list that
that wasn't the one I thought you were. I thought you were going to bring 2014 UConn. That's who I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
But that's fair.
It's hard to view UConn as an actual Cinderella, but that was an incredibly unlikely one. All right. I vividly remember where we were when this happened. We were at a certain church with the game on in the background. 2013, Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast. Got the start of Andy Enfield, who has now made a great career out of it. Definitely one of the more fun Cinderellas. I believe they only won 2 games.
Yeah. This is a case where I don't know how backloaded your list would be, because I think if I'm thinking of the 3 best Cinderella teams that I could objectively think of, FGCU would not be in that top 3. But I don't know that you have all of those top 3 on your board, and I'm starting to get a little bit of cold feet as we get to the third one and me having to potentially cut them. I'm going to cut them.
Wow. Okay,
I'm going to cut them because they
again,
only
don't
won
have
2
the,
games.
Yeah, they don't have the success as some of the best Cinderellas.
And again, that is one that it's another tough cut just because of the character of that team. I mean, Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, a school that I highly doubt anyone ever heard of before they went on that run.
A sun rising, baby.
I mean, we've heard of nothing from that school since then.
Basically.
So incredible run. That is my most hesitant cut yet, but I'm going to do it.
Next up, 2008 Davidson.
There we go.
Led by Stephen
That's
Curry.
what I was looking
made
for.
it to the Elite Eight.
That's one of the ones I was looking for. I'll keep them.
The birth
they made it far
of
enough.
one of the most influential and important and probably a top 10 greatest player in NBA history, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
This is for a fact that kid wound up at Davidson. Like, think about in the transfer era. Like his brother Seth, he was at Liberty, but then transferred to Duke.
Right.
Like, imagine Steph Curry in this day. He would have been at Davidson for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he would have been poached.
He would have played 2 games there.
You don't see situations like that anymore
No.
where you have an absolute superstar at a mid-major. And this was back when they were in the Big South. They
Yeah.
weren't even in the A-10, which is the highest level of mid-major. This was
Davidson-
when they were down there.
Davidson, another school that I'm like, man, why have we not heard more from them in recent memory? You would think they'd be able to build a little more off of that. But I know Steph Curry is also working. I think he's got a real title with Davidson.
Yes, he does.
To help them try to, build things back up. That one is actually like a little bit more hazy for me, memory-wise, because I was telling Pat before the show, like I started to get into college basketball right around then. I feel like it was the season after where I started paying really close attention. So I was kind of getting this in the background. I was like 12 when this, not even, I was 11, I guess, for the 2008 tournament when this was happening. But like, I do remember hearing about it. And obviously in hindsight, looking back at it just objectively, Davidson going to the Elite Eight with a guy like Steph Curry, I'll keep them for sure.
I started watching in 04 when the UConn won because my first grade teacher, shout out Mrs. Dressler if you're watching. We sang the UConn fight song every morning after the Pledge of Allegiance. She had a big,
I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening.
she had a huge board with the Final Four when they beat Georgia Tech and Illinois in the Final Four. That was when I got into it. So
Yeah, makes sense.
speaking of UConn, 2006 George Mason made it all the way to the Final Four, beating UConn. I think they made it to the Final Four, right?
I think so.
I think that was the Elite Eight where they beat
they
UConn.
did.
I
Yeah.
believe they were an 11 seed.
This one's tough out of just bias purposes and not,
I'd cut the fuck out of them for bias purposes.
not wanting to keep them for that reason. I mean, I feel like you've been pretty good about the teams you're bringing me. You're not bringing me any, and maybe you saved them for last, where it's like, what the fuck is that team even doing here? So, again, thinking of the teams that I would definitely want on my list if all were available to me, they are in that conversation. Trying to think of which ones we'd be missing out on.
Because you got one keep and 3 cuts. So if you cut them, you got to keep 2 of the next 3.
2 of the next 3. I'll cut them. Go UConn.
Wow.
Fuck them. Fuck George Mason.
Yeah.
Objectively, I should keep them, but
All
fuck
right.
them.
Next up, I think this is a guaranteed keep. 2018 Loyola Chicago,
Easy money.
led by
Easy
big
money.
ugly Cameron Krutwig and the legendary. She died, right?
She
Rest
did.
in peace.
She died this past year. Like
Sister
December.
Jean, arguably the biggest modern star
Yeah.
of March Madness, and I don't think it's particularly close.
No, this one's an easy keep. This one was a wild run. Had the characters, had the longevity, created a coach that has not done quite as much as I think we would have hoped. I think
Where's he?
he's at Oklahoma.
Parker Moser?
Porter Moser.
Porter Moser, thank you.
Yeah, he's at Oklahoma and hasn't done quite a ton, as you probably noticed by him not being in the tournament when the tournament has 68 teams in it. But yeah, that moment in time and that team might be the most iconic overall Cinderella, so I'm certainly keeping them.
All right, next up. I believe this was the first year of the first 4 for non-16 seeds. Made it all the way to the Final Four. 2011 VCU, led by Shaka Smart, who needed a new tailor.
Yeah, this is certainly one of them ones. And I think I'll be happy with this one rounding out my 3. I'll keep 2011 VCU.
Okay.
Trying to think of what else I'd even be missing out on. I mean, there's certainly been some other Cinderellas, but like I think the three I have, plus George Mason, who I cut, are kind of the biggest ones that I think of in terms of March Madness Cinderella run. So I will keep Shaka Smart and his VCU Rams, even though he is being a piss baby at Marquette right now and hurting the conference. Yeah. I mean, yes, but I also want good teams in the conference. But
Guy has made an incredible career out of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of a guy who's made a career and is now in the Big East, 2022, you're cutting them St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Led by Shaheen Holloway and Doug Eddert, who is now relevant playing in this Barstool thing. And is relevant.
I mean, is he?
There is no bigger, like, doofy white guy, in my opinion, to grace March Madness than Doug Eddert. First ever 15 seed to make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I think that you would have been fair keeping George Mason, VCU, or St. Peter's. I think whichever of the three, the Loyola Chicago and the Davidson were easy keeps.
Yeah.
I think. So out of the other three, I went with just straight.
You had bangers. You brought me bangers.
I brought the 8 best I could think of.
You brought me bangers. I told Pat before, I was like, you can make this list out of whatever you want, like joking about the soccer team part, but I was like, you could bring a team that like didn't win a game just so I get fucked, you know? But no, he brought the Heat. He brought the Heat, and I'm still even among the Heat, I feel like I managed the Heat very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
I got the 3 teams that I honestly would have picked out of just an objective list.
Yeah.
Well, I guess not totally objective because I'm biased about George Mason. But other than that, these are the 3 teams I would want. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. All right. That wraps up our Keep 3 Cut 5, and that wraps up our show for today. We're going to get to some viewer questions for those of you tuning in live. Feel free to pop them in there, and feel free to join us one of these days live, 10 a.m. Eastern, on Wednesdays for the time being. Eventually, we'll move back to Tuesdays as we get closer to the NFL season. But join us back here again next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want to join and watch us on. But for now, for Pat Gustafson, I'm Brandon Carney. We'll see you next time.
She see me in on my Penix. Bye-bye.
All right. Now, let me pull up the thing that actually lets me read the questions because my monitor's very far away from me, and I can't read it from over there.
I can't read it all.
I can't read.
Get out of here.
Let's see.
I have to go blow my nose into a piece of printer paper.
We have paper towels under the sink.
Brand, that's not funny.
Paper just hurts. I don't know.
That's the joke.
That's not a good joke. It just hurts.
Well, you got your bracket over here, I see.
I do. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Why'd you tell me to use paper?
Shut the fuck up. One moment, guys. I have to log in.
We're having a moment over here.
Yeah. I'll have to log into my Streamlabs thing to get the questions.
Testing the speaker on Streamlabs. Looks like it's working.
Okay. Recent.
Ooh. Corn Muffin, I miss the old Big East too. There was nothing like it. Then Pitt and Syracuse and Louisville had to get all greedy.
Okay. Here we go. All right. First donation from Omega with $4.99 said, so Keaton Mitchell goes to the Los Angeles Ravens and Isaiah Likely goes to the New York Ravens. I'm so sad. Yeah, I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, definitely gonna miss Likely. Keaton Mitchell, he's a guy that we've loved for a while.
I was gonna say,
just hasn't been able to.
You didn't mention him in your YouTube video talking about the off seasons,
and
I genuinely think Keaton Mitchell might be a guy we're talking about with Omarion Hampton in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Likely, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that he can be good with the Chargers. I think there's definitely a chance that there's a role for him alongside Omarion Hampton. I feel like with bringing in Mitchell, they might send Vidal to the Shadow Realm again.
I mean, think about it. They plucked him off the practice squad again this year. He has never been like a serious part of their building blocks going forward.
Yeah.
And they're going to have fucking Hassan Haskins because of his special teams play.
Yeah. Metalhead with $2 said, NFL Wordle, favorite Jags RB1 in 3 guesses.
Number 1, first guess I'm going to go LaQuaint Allen Jr. And the second, there we go.
Duval.
Here's the thing. Favorite Jags RB1? Honestly, it's James Robinson, but like
we're talking all time.
I mean, it's James Robinson, but he's the RB1 right now.
Toby Gerhart was their lead guy for like
Toby Gerhart.
That's a Heisman finalist.
Talking about milk. Fuck him.
That's a Heisman finalist.
Yeah.
You're slandering right now.
Yeah, fuck him. Sean Rosser with $4.99 said, no, save Sadiq for Carolina, please. Well, we did in our ideal segment. I'd much prefer to see him go to Carolina than the Chiefs. That is for certain. Silver with $5 said, now when I do an impression of Collinsworth glazing Mahomes, I think I'm actually doing an impression of Pat's impression of Collinsworth.
Pat, and that's what we see from Patrick Mahomes. I love the video of the interrogation. Did you see the Poop Deli video I sent you today?
I did.
There's a new one. Yeah,
I did. I only got halfway through it. I gotta watch the rest
boss
of it.
man.
Salt, pepper, ketchup, poop.
Salt, pepper, poop. Save some money. Sorry.
Sunray with $4.99 said, delusional Bengals fan becoming more convinced that Jay Love is the pick. I don't hate it. Like, I don't love it either because I don't think that's just the biggest need for the Bengals. But, I mean, it's not beneficial for them. Like, Love is a huge upgrade over Chase Brown from a talent perspective. But yeah, I feel like Bengals fans, I would hope Bengals fans would be more logical and not necessarily root for that, be okay with it if it happens. But like so many other positions, the O-line, anywhere on the defense, like much higher priorities, I would think. Ezaf Bayleaf with $5 said, who would have a better career? Todd Gurley with no arthritis or Antonio Brown with no CTE?
AB not even. Like, AB is an all-time wide. AB is still almost an all-time good wide receiver anyway. Gurley, running backs tend to wear out anyway. So it's like, I think AB is far more elite.
I was going to say Gurley just because AB, like, had a full career before the CTE set in. But I feel like even looking at what Antonio Brown did and then adding on the 2, maybe 3 years extra that he would have had without the head issues, I feel like that still outdoes what Gurley would have done without arthritis. Because I think you're right. Like, Gurley probably would have dealt with some other injuries. And just running back versus receiver, like, I don't know. I think that's a good question. I think that's definitely a debate to be had. I lean AB just because AB for so long was just the best receiver in football. Like, did otherworldly things. I hate what has become of him because Vontaze Burfict dribbled him like a basketball.
Man, that guy could have been an all-time Raider. Instead, he just called Mike Mayock a cracker and dipped.
And froze his feet. Tyler Quigley with $4.99 said, what is each of your favorite ACC school and why is it Wake Forest?
I will say
it might be Wake Forest.
I will say I hate any of the Big East schools there. So BC, Louisville, Syracuse, and Pitt, go fuck yourself. Miami, technically, too, so fuck you, Miami. Duke and North Carolina, get lost.
Yep.
So I guess that kind of leaves, like, Georgia Tech, the Virginias. Oh, also, fuck the teams that aren't even on the Atlantic coast.
I was going to say Stanford.
Cal, Stanford, SMU, get fucked. I am going to say Wake Forest because a guy that I knew in college who played at Central coached for a year or two at Wake Forest. So I'll go with that. Shout out CCSU legend Joe Hughley.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Wake Forest is just the team I have the least against. Florida State's fine. Yeah, fuck it. I'll pander. I'll pander to you donating money. Sure, Wake Forest. Why not? Mainly because I don't have
Florida State
another
too.
Good option to go to. See, I'm like, whatever. Florida State's whatever.
I'd say if I had to pick next, probably like Virginia Tech because a buddy of mine went there.
That's fair.
So
Ty Daniel with $4.99 said, last week I said Pat made me a UConn fan. I mistyped. Brand,
Fuck
you
me,
are the
I
reason UConn is my favorite college basketball team. Let's go.
Yeah,
Rightfully
it does
getting credit as I should. I was very confused by that message last week.
It does make more sense that Brand, has a far more public platform than me.
On the public platform, I just represent UConn more. You come on here in Penguin Plunge and Central Connecticut merch, and I've never once seen you wear anything with a Husky on it.
I don't even know. I have a few UConn shirts.
Let's see. Is there anything else after that? That might be...
That's the last one I'm seeing.
Question. That is the last one. Okay. If anybody has any general questions for the chat, we will answer a couple. So no donations required.
Dark Killer, I remember I want to say 2013 Wichita State went on a run. Didn't they make the championship against Kentucky?
I
the
don't
Final
think
Four
they made-
against
I think
Kentucky?
they might have made the Final Four. Yeah,
I
don't think it was
remember they ran
championship.
it to Kentucky. Was that the year UConn won in 2014, didn't they?
Yes.
Oh, this is 2013. Because didn't UConn beat Kentucky, who beat Wichita State in the Final Four that year? I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Wichita State basketball seasons and find the one where they did the fucking thing. Hey Siri, when did Wichita State do the thing? Oh no, my phone's actually responding. No, don't. Never mind, Siri.
Oh, boy.
Never
Oh,
mind.
boy.
I was memeing. Never mind. Cancel, Siri. Turn off.
Turn off what?
Okay, it turned off. Let's see. Final Four 2012 to 13. So it was the 2013 tournament.
Okay, so no then, okay.
And that Final Four was... Oh, yeah, that was the year that Louisville won and beat Michigan.
then didn't
it
win.
got vacated.
Haha, fuck you.
Fuck you, Patino, you big bitch.
Bro just wanted strippers for his players. Free my guy.
All right, reading the general chat here. So any questions you guys want to get in, feel free. No donations required. Giving your conference a geographical name is just begging for it to age poorly. I mean, giving your conference any name of anything is begging to age poorly.
Except
Most
the
of them,
American Athletic, that works
that was pretty.
They did a
yeah.
good job there.
That was
and actually,
future-proof.
Their geography is honed in a bit as well. They're more like in the Texas, Tennessee,
Yeah,
Kentucky
congratulations.
area now.
They brought in UAB and
Go
North
Blazers.
Texas and Rice.
And Conference
Jerry's
and then
eating
Conference
rice.
USA, the home of every new D1 team. Hello, Kennesaw, Missouri State, Delaware, all the new FBS schools.
Alex said, working an 18-hour event today where, in years past, crazy trades have happened during the event. Tyreek to Miami, Stephon to the Texans. Predict a wide receiver trade that happens today. Well, AJ's not getting traded until after June. So if another wide receiver trade were to happen today, God, who's even, like, available and, like, on the market? Anybody? Is there anybody that's been, like, rumored to move now?
Rashee Rice to the penitentiary.
Okay. Brian Thomas Jr. to... Where's he going to go? Brian Thomas Jr. to the Saints. How about that? We'll go with that. Why not? I don't think anything's actually going to happen, but if I got to pick. Let's see. Any hints on what the video you were asking for IG submissions is? Yes. I don't even need to hint. It's just a clear answer because it's not that creative. I'm doing it's essentially a mock draft. I did last year the perfect pick for every team in the first round. I just wanted to crowdsource what everybody thinks they want their team to do and what their team's needs are. Better way for me to get a vibe on like what fan bases are hoping for and expect so that I can more accurately say what the perfect pick is going to be for every team. So that was the idea. I still have to go through all those answers and see which answers I got more than others because right now it's just kind of a mishmash. Chargers move Johnston. Chargers could move Johnston. Keon Coleman to the Cardinals. Barf.
Yummy. Sorry.
Yucky.
Fruit salad. Yucky.
Cosmic Boy said Eli Stowers to the Patriots at 31 or 63 if he falls that far. I'd be okay with that. I like Eli Stowers. He's a big-bodied boy, tight end, Vanderbilt. Butt buddies with Pavia. Maybe we draft Pavia too as a backup.
His mommy. Isn't that the one whose mom was with fucking whatever that
probably.
stupid not? I don't know. Theo Vaughn. Oh.
Probably. All right. I feel like that's about it. I feel like we've gotten to the questions we needed to get to. Sorry. Alex
I don't
also
like
said,
that guy, but the one thing is when he's talking to Joe Rogan about Monster, and he goes, "Just makes me want to piss." Goes, "Makes you want to beat your wife." You know those guys are going home and punching. That's the only one that gets me for that guy.
My favorite Theo Von bit is when he's talking about the N-word.
Oh, and he goes,
he's
"I
like,
just write it down."
When I got to get it out, I just write it down. What do you mean when you got to get it out? What do you mean?
Or he's Nicaraguan, and he goes, "Where are my at?"
Yeah, all right. I think that'll do it for today's show.
Bubby.
Thank you for tuning in to Brand Coverage. We will be back again Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully this outro song is less aggressively loud. I tried to make it so, but we will